This is what happens when you have an idea but no actual story, and you have a bunch of collection of good scenes and shots in mind, but no way of connecting them with a good story, but you try anyway. Hello everyone, my name is Max Aaron James. This is a review of the movie Saltburn, written and directed by Emerald Fennell. This is about our friend Oliver, who goes to this prestigious university, so clearly he's higher class, wealthy, but meets an even wealthier group of friends, one in particular, and ends up befriending this person and is welcomed into this person's inner circle. And then weird stuff's supposed to happen. For about an hour and a half, we just see them together. The last 30 minutes are about someone who has a deeper secret and motive when it comes to their relationship with a close friend. I'm trying not to spoil it, and right now I don't have the exact words to describe this movie. The movie actually started pretty decent for the first 10 minutes, then immediately tries to lay down a bunch of groundwork by skipping through an entire semester of school. I don't think Fennell realizes that there was a lot of character development that was skipped, particularly when it comes to building the relationship or friendship between our two leads, and we get through all that just to get to where Fennell wants to be, which all takes place in where this movie is named after. Then we get scenes just meant for quippy dialogue to show how weird the 1% can be, for really nice shots or scenes, and for Fennell to see how grotesque or how far her lead character Oliver can get. The fascination here, from my perspective, is just seeing how weird and sometimes gross and cruel the 1% can be. Also seeing how they live and how weird they are, but able to afford doing these weird things, and how their experience and how unaware they are of the rest of the world they can be. That last part, I would say Fennell doesn't really approach or touch on that. It's not that sophisticated. This movie is more a day in the life, which is not a bad thing because I like Friday and After Hours, but we do not have any characters that we care much about, understand, or relate to, let alone that we actually know, especially our lead, Oliver. Before I go any further with tearing this movie apart, let's give roses to Archie Madikwe. I hope I pronounced his last name right. He is the best part about this movie and the most captivating actor here, which says a lot considering we have a really good ensemble of actors here who have given fantastic performances in other films. Madekwe, with the limited screen time he was given, was able to steal the spotlight and give us a character we actually started becoming interested in. And as far as the whole entire story, when we are finally given something to understand and cling on to as far as an actual plot, over an hour and a half of the movie's gone, and this movie's just over 2 hours long. Of course, the end of a film is what most audience members tend to remember most and impact how they feel about the movie oftentimes. And the last 30 to 40 minutes is when the story finally, eventually, gets focused and we finally have something to follow and we're getting into the movie. This is after, of course, we pretend there's actual change or evolution in Oliver's character and that there was actual character development to justify actions that clearly didn't make sense, instead of relying on a lazy 2-minute twist explanation at the very end. There is some sensual humor sprinkled throughout here, maybe for shock value or get a reaction out of the audience, but it took me out because it involved Oliver behaving in a way that was completely inconsistent with the character we were introduced to and how he behaved for the rest of the movie, even after these actions. And the scenes that were clearly meant to be funny did not make the audience laugh, and any scenes that were meant to evoke a reaction, the audience was quiet the entire time. The hardest laugh we had watching the movie was a comment someone in the audience said regarding the characters. The experience was only worth it. Let me reword that. The experience was not as dull as it could have been only because of what the audience members were saying. I feel this movie is for a particular demographic. I feel the younger me, particularly in my early 20s, would have loved this movie, even though it's just a bunch of good color palettes and nice shots, but I would have still considered it art and something so sophisticated and grand, when it's really just glamorizing the lifestyle of the 1% and showing how extravagant their life can be, and showing a really nice shots and good lighting. If Fennell cuts a good 30 minutes of bullshit from this movie, it might be worth a second watch, but even then, I still have an hour worth of stuff I have to siphon through before I actually get to the story. So I wrote a list of movies that this movie clearly rips off of. This is what I've been told from numerous people, or seen on numerous online reviews. Kill Your Darlings, Killing of a Sacred Deer, Teorama, sloppily meshed into what is more of really just a nice visual of an idea than a movie. And that's what I would call this movie, more an idea than an actual movie. This is a great visual pitch for people to hire writers and actually make a movie. And after watching this movie, the trailer makes sense. I mean, an hour and a half doesn't really have any plot or story, no drive or motive, just people doing stuff. And that's what the trailer gives, just music, cool shots, and trying to establish a vibe. This is not a movie worth spending your money on to watch in theaters. Wait till it's on streaming or something, rent it, and just study the visuals maybe. Until next time, y'all take care of each other. Check up on one another. Make sure you check up on yourself. And remember, potential has no limit.